world is full of magnificent places with vastly unique environments. Let's look more closely at California in the United States, more specifically the coastline of Monterey County, where the Pacific Ocean sits against the sandy shore and the coastal dunes stretch for miles. Sandy shores or beaches are loose deposits of sand and other minerals, such as shells and gravel. These sandy shores cover most of the shoreline in many areas. Coastal sand dunes. This is wet sand that is deposited throughout the coast and later dries, forming a lifted clump of sand. The beginnings of the sandy shore and sand dunes was millions of years ago. The climate had an odd development with the constantly changing climate. About 65 million years ago, the climate changed from subtropical to increasingly seasonal. Later, 8 million years ago, the climate changed once again to a cooler temperature, producing fog and blocking storms. 2.5 million years ago was the beginning of the Ice Age, and the sea level was quite abnormal. Recently, 20,000 years ago, many pines thrived during this period. Later, when humans began to inhabit the Earth, the overall heat of the atmosphere has been increasing. This has led to the decrease of species and rising sea levels from the melting of polar ice caps. Plants are rooted in almost every part of the coastal dunes. These plants are crucial, especially to the native animals for survival. American dune grass and saltgrass are native species, but they don't necessarily thrive. Ice plants. They're an invasive species and a large problem for other plants. They dominate the Monterey Dunes, covering the majority of what there is. The ice plant was introduced to California in the early 1900s. They eventually took over the coast and ate up native species of plants. Several birds and small marine animals make up most of the beaches and dunes. Killdeer, long-billed curlew, red-necked phalarope, and seagulls are some of the birds found here, including the snowy plover, which was pronounced as threatened species by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service in the Endangered Species Act in 1993. Their population declined by loss of habitat, development, and other human pressures. Presently, there are a little more than 2,000 breeding plovers on the Pacific coast. Bay ghost shrimp and topsmell are known to live in the crashing waves, and one can spot harbor seals too. Although these animals are important, the keystone species are the sand crabs, which support the entire ecosystem of many of the beaches and dunes in California. These small creatures indicate the health of the ecosystem. They are also primary consumers, as they play an important role as the food source of the majority of the animals. However, these animals aren't able to live peacefully with the disturbance of human activities and natural threats. Trespassing, polluting, and development are a few of the many problems the beaches and dunes suffer. Erosion will also eventually cause the dunes to completely disappear as they lose a few feet every year. Climate change has also dramatically altered the sandy shore and sand dunes, with rising sea levels, increasing temperatures, acid water, and more natural disasters. One of the most tragic impacts to the sand dunes and sandy shore is the trash pollution. The garbage patch lies in between California and Hawaii, with 80 tons of trash that covers the sea, and the size gets progressively bigger by the second. This trash will usually get washed up on shore. Careless visitors also leave trash scattered on the sand. Trash from all different parts litters these poor beaches, also by way of watershed, hurting animals and plants. Many animals will get caught in this trash and mistake it for food. The trash destroys the animals' homes. Polluted soil affects the growth of once healthy plants. Plants will grow with the chemicals from the poisonous trash. Bugs and worms will become affected from the soil as well. The future for the beaches and sand dunes looks bleak. Many species in the population will continue to decrease until there won't be any more. Eventually, trash may cover up these entire beaches. The dunes may erode until there is nothing left. Plants and animals will suffer the loss of homes due to development and trespassers. With heat increasing and sea levels rising, it will not only be hot, but the beach and dunes will eventually be flooded. Frighteningly, scientists predict that the destruction may happen in just a few decades. It is imperative to act now. We can do simple acts of slowing down this process by using the rules of reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, and compost, which will lower the trash pollution we bring into this world. Following guidelines to help preserve the dunes and the beaches is easy. Sustainable and healthier energy systems, modes of traveling, and diet choices will make all the difference. We can strive to protect these ecosystems by creating and enforcing laws. We can work together to find better ways to replace the destructive ways we have. We need to come together, hand in hand, to find solutions to the problems we created. David Attenborough once said, "And how, if we act now, we can put it right." We need to learn how to work with nature rather than against it.